So next time you head out for a swim, you never know. You might bump into this guy. That all went out the window, however, when evidence was presented.
What it is, guys? It's your boy Blasphemous HD, and today I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. Alright? I haven't been watching any of these videos lately because they were scaring the crap out of me, and it was hard for me to sleep because I started having dreams. But I slept good last night. If you guys want to watch the original video, this is it is by that creepypasta guy. The link in the description down below for the original video. Wish me luck, because I'm gonna need it.
The lagoon is approximately 80 by 30 kilometers in size, and because of the strong tides in the area, it creates a vicious current that goes in and out twice a day. At the beginning, the divers seen here are merely hanging around the blue, but they quickly realise they're rapidly being sucked in by the tide. Once they get closer to the bottom, you can see just how quickly they're being dragged in by the current. This video was uploaded to YouTube in July 2015 and shows a pair of divers spearfishing in some murky water. About halfway through the video, we see one of the men suddenly jolt back and head in the opposite direction in panic. And when the camera pans upwards, you can see clearly that the men are heading directly into what appears to be an old naval mine floating above them. Once the men got back, they reported the incident and found out it was a Navy test mine that thankfully wasn't live. However, this must have been terrifying to encounter.
Bro, I thought it was a fish, man. I thought it was like some big fish, some big shark, something like a squid or something, bruh. Man, I damn near had a panic attack, bruh. God, Jesus, bruh. Oh my God. I don't do this.
The video we have here shows a group of divers who are exploring the USS YO-257, which was a yard oiler in World War II and the Korean War. And whilst they're diving, a submarine suddenly passes underneath them. This is a sightseeing type of submarine, rather than a military one. However, it must have been a pretty spooky experience for the divers involved. If you're claustrophobic, then this clip definitely isn't for you. Caving in tight spaces underground isn't for everyone, and caving in tight spaces underground and being underwater is for even less people. What we have here is footage of people caving underwater through narrow crevices in Castle Rock Cave in Wisconsin. There's a point in the video where one of the men even had to take off his helmet as there wasn't enough room for him to squeeze his head through. It's crazy to think that with one wrong move or one person getting stuck, they would be almost helpless to receive any form of rescue.
Then why? I don't see any reason.
The video we can see here shows a diver scouring the ocean floor when a cargo ship passes above him. There's a good chance that if he wasn't holding onto a rope, he could have been sucked upwards towards the boat's propeller. The issue many raise with this video is that there should have been a safety ship with a flag on top, indicating that you can't come within 500 feet of the vicinity of the diving site. This could have been extremely dangerous. This is a bonus clip that I found online, and that many YouTube videos have claimed to be an underwater burial ground. However, I would quickly like to debunk that whilst I'm covering this topic. During a dive near Arizona, a lone diver noticed these two skeletons placed underwater and immediately phoned the police. However, once the police searched the area, they realised the skeletons were plastic with sunglasses and wigs on, and there was also a sign that said 8/16/2014, which means that by the time anyone noticed this, these skeletons had been down there for almost a year. This video is completely fake and is more likely for an art project or a prank.
The deep ocean is a pretty scary place if we're being completely honest. Strange creatures that look nothing like what we're used to on land can grow to extraordinary sizes beneath the waves, with even more alien creatures still left to be discovered. We can thank deep-sea submersibles and the explorers that pilot them for allowing us unique insights into this world in recent years. That being said, the following examples of our 5 scariest deep-sea diver footage caught on camera and spotted in real life will definitely make you think twice before taking a dip in the ocean from here on out. Number 5. Giant Squid. The giant squid is a terrifying sea monster, and for a long time it was relegated to being a tall tale told by sailors who like to embellish the details in their stories. That all went out the window, however, when evidence was presented very much real and living in the deepest depths of our oceans. It's understandable why people were hesitant to believe the stories about the giant squids, because it's hard for us to imagine something so monstrous and massive being able to avoid detection for so long, even if its habit is as foreign to us as the world's oceans. We're now able to see for ourselves what giant squids are all about, with some amazing footage of them living and going about their business in their natural environments. This is quite impressive and really goes to show just how far our underwater tech has come in the past few decades. This video hails from 2013 and is hailed as the very first time researchers were able to capture footage of a live giant squid, with most previous specimens either washing up dead on a beach or being caught in a commercial fishing net. That thing is definitely terrifying, and it's a good thing the submersible pictured was unmanned, because anyone witnessing this beast firsthand would probably have suffered a massive heart attack on the spot. We know we would have been absolutely scared stiff, and it's clear that one swipe from those massive tentacles could easily have disabled the sub or worse. While this isn't the most clear video ever, with the lights needed to see anything at those depths bathing the squid in a ghostly white light, there's no doubt as to what we're looking at or its sheer size. When you get a good view of the squid's head, you get the sense that it could do some serious damage if it wanted to, which goes without saying since these creatures have been known to battle with sperm whales and come out on top. Those huge eyes are definitely the most freaky part of the entire encounter. It gives the giant squid a very strange appearance that's almost human, although the rest of it tosses that idea right out the window. Even though we'd be scared out of our minds, we'd still jump at the chance to see one of these up close and personal, although we'd make sure we were completely protected before doing so. Not much is known about the life cycles or habits of these elusive creatures, and it'll be interesting to see what comes from further studies on them in the near future. Number 4. Anglerfish. The anglerfish is certainly a strange fish that's bound to worry anyone who ends up coming across one. The odds of that are thankfully low, as these fish are found in the extremely deep areas of the world's oceans and don't make their way to the surface at all. They are perfectly adapted for their world, which is devoid of any kind of natural light, employing bioluminescent appendages that glow in order to attract prey towards their gaping mouths. The way their fins move as they propel themselves through the dark abyss is absolutely mesmerizing to watch, and they're actually quite beautiful, despite the anglerfish being pretty gross at first glance. There are live specimens on display in a few aquariums around the world, with the one pictured in the footage eventually finding a home at the Monterey Bay Aquarium Research Institute, which allowed researchers to study them with the intent of learning as much as possible. We're still a long ways away from being able to say that we fully understand the lives of these elusive fish, though. It's expected that this info will eventually help scientists to work on conservation methods appearance. What really sets the ghost shark apart from any other known creature is the fact that its reproductive organs are located at the top of its head and not where those parts usually go. Scientists have tried to work out why this is the case, but that answer hasn't been all that forthcoming and is made even harder by the fact that these ghost sharks are so rare. This one was filmed by a team with National Geographic, and those involved say that the video footage was captured because of pure dumb luck. They certainly made the most of their surprise encounter. This particular specimen is thought to be a pointy blue-nosed chimera, and the find is even more important than usual because it proves that these fish, once thought to inhabit areas only around Australasia, are able to survive even in the northern hemisphere where water temperatures are less tropical and more frigid. These sharks have also swapped out the stereotypical rows of razor-sharp teeth that we've come to expect from sharks, opting instead to use mineral plates that they use to crush up any prey they come across. They're also bottom feeders and cruise around looking for whatever they can easily scoop up instead of engaging in the more predatory habits of other sharks. Number 2. Fangtooth. These menacing-looking deep-sea predators have the largest teeth compared to their body size of any known creature on Earth, and one look at one will sum up why they made today's list. They look a little bit like the anglerfish mentioned earlier and use a special trick to navigate in their dark world, living so deep below the ocean's surface that light is unable to reach them. A lateral line on their backs shows off these sensors that they use to detect minute disturbances in the water around them, signaling potential prey or even predators. These fish are pretty tiny, measuring only around 20 centimeters on average when fully grown, but are incredibly vicious and will pretty much try to take a bite out of anything that moves near them, regardless of its size. Their attitude is born out of necessity, as it's hard to find much to eat in the deep ocean, and picking up at least a little piece of whatever meal happens to show up is the best way to avoid starvation. It's also a great defense, especially since a quick bite will help disorient any attackers and allow the smaller Fangtooth to make its escape through its dark environment in relative safety. Look, we don't really care how small the Fangtooth is, because even if they were the most docile anything we'd expect from a fish, in defensive mode, they open up their mouths. Silver lining if you have something out of Jurassic Park, and after getting a look at one, we're happy simply avoiding any run-ins with sarcastic fringeheads if we can help it. The good news here is that they aren't very big, growing to only around a foot long, but that really isn't much of a silver lining if you happen across one of these terrifying looking fish. When they're going about their daily routine and are relaxed, sarcastic fringeheads don't look like anything out of the ordinary and are pretty much just regular fish. Provoke or threaten a fringehead, however, and you're in for a scary surprise. When they get into defensive mode, they open up their mouths, revealing a set of needle-sharp teeth that are more than capable of turning a day on the water into a rush to the emergency room. They don't usually attack unless provoked, with fringeheads usually only baring their fangs until danger's past without making any moves to defend itself physically. If that doesn't work, they will then take matters into their own hands and get violent, actively attacking whatever's bothering them and trying to sink those fangs in as deep as they can go. While they aren't about to tear your arm off, given their small stature, sarcastic fringeheads can definitely do some serious damage when provoked, and that provocation really doesn't take much. The fish are fiercely territorial and will have a go at anything they deem to be a threat, which is basically anything that moves around their home, and can also include foes much larger than they are, as in the cases of the unlucky divers who have disturbed them. They even take on other large fish and octopi, making themselves out to be Davids taking on Goliaths. They like to hide in small holes, usually in and around coral reefs, meaning you usually won't know that you're bothering one until it finally decides enough is enough and jumps menacingly into action. Avoiding fringeheads is usually as easy as avoiding sticking your hands into holes, but sometimes divers do get clumsy and end up on a sarcastic fringehead's list of troublemakers. When two of these fish are competing for the same territory is when things take a turn for the hilarious, as they fend each other off by opening wide and pushing against each other's open mouths until one finally gives up and swims off.
Well, that's about all of that I can do today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I just remembered why we're here, and now all the excitement has left my voice. Alright, so look, it's nighttime right now, right? And we're about to watch 5 extraordinary sea creatures that will blow your mind. You guys want to watch the original video? The link's in the description down below. Let it go.
The ocean is a fascinating place, and with the amount of unexplored areas down there, and with the thought that humans have only discovered less than 1% of all species that have ever lived, just imagine what we would find if the ocean was drained. I'm sure there would be creatures and fossils that we cannot even begin to comprehend. Now, I will be doing a video soon on mysterious sea creatures, such as a massive shark that was spotted in Japan that has never been seen since. But this video is about creatures that aren't so mysterious but are truly remarkable, and show us the endless possibilities the ocean is home to. Frilled shark. Just by taking one look at the frilled shark, you can't help but think that it's a mythical creature. But it's not. The frilled shark is very real, and this truly magnificent prehistoric species dates back to around 80 million years ago.
We're gonna edit that out. Don't nobody need to hear me screaming like no B-hats.
As you can imagine, it's incredibly rare and gets its name from its 6 pairs of gill slits that make it appear like a fringe collar. And unlike most shark species, its mouth is located just below their snout and holds an estimated 25 rows of 300 needle-sharp teeth, much different from the regular shark teeth we all know of. Because of this, and the fact one has never been observed feeding, it's believed they must feed off squid and small fishes, especially since they are a deep water shark, generally swimming near the bottom of the ocean at depths of up to 4,000 feet. So where can they be spotted? Well, they have been sighted in a few places such as Australia, New Zealand, Southeast Asia, West Africa, Chile and the Caribbean. And very recently a 6-foot-long frilled shark, which seems to be the average length of them, was caught in Australia. As you can imagine, fishermen had no idea what they had accidentally caught, and the same goes for one captured by fishermen off the coast of Japan. Every effort was made to keep this one alive, but sadly it died. This did give us the opportunity to examine this incredible creature though, but led the frilled shark one step closer to extinction. They are already extremely rare, and what doesn't help is that they are believed to have the longest gestation period of any other creature, taking as long as 3.5 years. This is why the species is labelled as near threatened, but in reality, there is no answer to how many frilled sharks are out there right now, and since they live deep down in the ocean, who knows how many or how large some of these sharks could be. And for this reason, you can see why the frilled shark is one of the most interesting creatures on the planet, and are indeed one of the oldest still living animals we know of. The peacock mantis shrimp. The peacock mantis shrimp is possibly the most colourful and interesting little creature we know of. It's found in the warm waters of the Indian and Pacific Oceans and
I don't trust it.
Ranges from 3 to 18 centimeters long. Its body is an array of colours, with its hard shell being predominantly bright green, with splatters of red, orange and blue, and has extraordinary multicoloured forearms. But their appearance is not what makes the peacock mantis shrimp so fascinating. It's the fact that they have the most complex eyes known in the animal kingdom. They contain millions of light-sensitive cells, and their eyesight is far superior than ours. They can detect 10 times more colour than a human and have the ability to see ultraviolet and infrared light. Each eye can move independently, and the shrimp uses its amazing eyesight to avoid predators and to seek out prey. Their eyes are so incredible that scientists have studied their structure to see if it can be replicated for use in reading CDs and other storage devices. But don't be fooled by their colours or their incredible eyesight. They are in fact a very vicious predator that will repeatedly smash their hard-shelled prey until they reach the soft tissue to feast on. Which leads us to their other extraordinary feature, their ability to punch over 50 miles per hour, finishing its strike in under 3,000th of a second, the fastest recorded punch of any living animal. It's so fast in fact that each of their strikes can produce small flashes of light upon impact. This is due to the fact that when they punch, it lowers the pressure of the water, causing it to boil. Unlike some extraordinary sea creatures, the mantis shrimp is not a rare or endangered species, and can be kept in a saltwater aquarium at home. But be aware as it grows larger, as they have been known to punch their way through aquarium glass. Giant isopod. The giant isopod are by far
That's an underwater roach. I don't do it.
are the largest member of the isopod family, a species that includes a creature most of us will be familiar with, the woodlouse. As you can see, the giant isopod looks like a giant woodlouse, making it one of the strangest creatures we have found in the ocean. They can be spotted worldwide, living solitary lives on the seabed in depths of up to 7,000 feet. At these depths, the isopods are faced with practically unlivable conditions. Pitch black, extreme cold, and ridiculous pressure, which is all thought to be the reason for their enormous size. It's the result of deep-sea gigantism, a yet-to-be-explained phenomenon that causes deep-water creatures to grow much larger than similar species that habitat shallower waters. Other examples of this are giant squids and giant tube worms, all of which grow considerably larger than their shallow water relatives. The giant isopod has a hard-shelled, segmented body, which means it's both tough and flexible, and when threatened it will roll into a ball to protect its fleshy underside, much like a woodlouse. It has alien-looking, highly reflective eyes that have a large field of vision, and are very responsive to fast movement, but are also incredibly sensitive to light, as they live in the dark and mainly rely on their large antennae to help them navigate their way along the seabed. As food is limited at the depths the isopods live, they will eat almost anything that falls to the seafloor, but have been known to prey on slow-moving sea cucumbers, sponges, live fish, and were even caught on camera killing a trapped dogfish shark. However, giant isopods can live long periods of time without food. One in fact went 5 years without eating whilst in captivity, and for this reason and its gigantic appearance, the giant isopod is one extraordinary deep-sea creature.
No.
The mimic octopus is quite a recent discovery, first being spotted in 1998 off the coast of Indonesia, and is a true master of disguise. Unlike many animals who can camouflage themselves to blend in with their environment, this octopus can actually change itself to mimic a number of different species, the only known marine animal to do so. It's adapted this ability by living in shallow waters, leaving it extremely vulnerable to predators. So in order to protect itself, it can transform from a brown-looking octopus into an array of different poisonous creatures to fend off its attackers. But this also works as a way to fool prey into believing it's a less threatening creature, only to devour them once they get close enough. A venomous sole, lionfish, sea anemone, sea snakes and jellyfish are just a few things it's been witnessed morphing into. To change into the venomous sole, it will pull all its arms in and completely flatten its body into the same shape as the sole, and is able to propel itself to resemble the speed of the deadly predator. The mimic octopus can make these transformations due to the fact they have no rigid elements to their structure, so are fully flexible and able to bend their soft bodies into these intelligent shapes. An interesting fact is that a female mimic octopus can lay up to 200,000 eggs, which she hangs in strings from the ceiling of her lair. She then protects and cares for the eggs until they hatch. During this time she will not eat, and as soon as her eggs hatch, she will die. The male will also die within a few months of mating, but because of the huge amount of eggs they lay, the mimic octopus is far from extinction.
Dark water is not my forte. I'm just gonna say that. If it looks realistic enough, I'm gonna cry.
Now, this next one's focus is actually a video that was caught 1.5 miles under the Gulf of Mexico on November the 11th, 2007. The clip was captured by a Shell Oil Company remotely operated vehicle as it was exploring one of the world's deepest oil and gas developments. What the camera witnessed is a bit of a mystery, and I was going to save it for my mysterious underwater creatures video, but I thought I would include it here because it is truly extraordinary. Take a look at this.
Okay. I don't do underwater. I really don't do underwater.
It's been nicknamed the long-legged squid, and could be a species of Magnapina squid or bigfin, a species that are quite common worldwide but live in permanently dark zones of the ocean, in depths of below 4,000 feet. It's thought the Magnapina squid can measure from 5 to 23 feet long and have 4 slightly different variants of the species with shorter and different number of appendages that they use to pick up food from the seabed. But the one in the footage appears to have 10 appendages that all appear to be the same length, and is the first of its kind to have been spotted. Because of this, there really is a limited amount of information on it, and whether it's the same genus to the Magnapina squid, a distant relative to it, or a completely new creature remains unknown. But just...
Alright, well, you know what? That's enough of that. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't think I'll be doing much sleeping tonight. If you did, make sure to comment, like, and or subscribe. It's your boy Blasphemous HD.
It's her interest, her intelligence. I could see it in her eyes.
I found a monster giant squid documentary, and I watched about a good 3 seconds of the middle of it, and it is not good. It's pretty bad. Actually, this might be the same documentary that gave me my aquaphobia when I was a child. But yeah, you guys want to watch the original video? The link's in the description down below. Let go. This is not a good idea.
It's a rebreather, a closed circuit rebreather. The CO carbon dioxide is pulled out, add a little oxygen, it comes back and you breathe it. Same as the guys who walked on the moon. Fantastic. It's really cool. I can stay down there with the creatures and film them for as long as I can stand the cold.
The water registers 47 degrees. Without a dry suit, a diver could slip into unconsciousness from the cold in just half an hour.
Waterproof zipper. Same zipper they use in spacesuits. Only in a spacesuit, I think they pressurize it. In this suit, you get vacuum packed. Get all these fancy lights. That one means low. Getting a little warm. I'll get in the water soon.
No. Absolutely not. No.
These gloomy green depths are called the Emerald Sea, and although cold, they are rich in oxygen and nutrients. The combination allows creatures to reach enormous size.
No!
Down at 60 feet, Bob and Peter pick up a trail of broken and discarded shells. A dead giveaway. Something strong and very...
That helps. See, that's thanks to one of you guys. I read the comment section of one of these, and y'all was like, yo, if you breathe real hard, then it'll help you not feel so anxiety ridden. And it does help. Not a lot, but it is enough.
Very hungry has come this way, and often. Should show more caution. It's up against a devious and determined predator.
Nigga! That's your ass. Oh, just gonna pull it right off. Word? Damn!
As Bob approaches, his quarry appears to have found him. A giant Pacific octopus.
No!
8 arms of sinewy muscle lined with grasping suckers reach out and gently explore the strange intruder.
What are you doing? He's gonna let this happen? He's literally trying to choke you out. That's 100% a full Nelson, and you just gonna let it happen?
A giant can reach 20 feet from arm tip to arm tip and weigh in at 200 pounds.
No,
It's the largest octopus in the great clan called the Cephalopods, the group that unites the octopus and squid. It's an ancient tribe, the first large predators in the sea. To this curious female, we're a brand new species. Cephalopod means head-footed, a good beginning in deciphering the octopus's amazing design. The head and body are encased in a large, soft sac, and the foot, derived from its distant relatives, the clams and snails, has become a siphon.
Is it using anus propulsion to pull or push itself?
A water jet to propel it in any direction.
That's its anus. Oh, that's cool.
A long time ago, its ancestors were a shell, but the octopus has given that up. Yet for creatures
We good. We going back. We going back in.
with such tasty flesh, the lack of protection presents a problem. The cephalopod solution? The most extraordinary skin in the animal kingdom. In an instant, it can change color, pattern, and texture. And with no bones to confine its shape, the creature can virtually disappear.
No! No!
Another female lies sequestered in her den, tending to her brood of eggs. She lays up to 100,000 just once in her life. When they hatch, she will die. These clever, curious creatures won't live long at all. Their entire lifespan is no more than 3 or 4 years. The transparent babies are no bigger than a grain of rice, but within a year, they'll be giants. While the lives of these complex beings are all too brief, their line reaches back 500 million years, long before sharks began swimming the seas.
This would be a great spot right in here.
Peter Ward has spent 35 years delving into cephalopod family secrets. He's brought Bob to a special outcropping of rocks. They were once well submerged in a much warmer sea and still hold a record of that long ago time.
Fossils are found in these rocks. Fossils of relatives of the octopus, actually. They're called ammonites.
And how old are they?
80 million years in age.
80 million years.
That's true.
That is old.
Back in those days, cephalopods made beautiful curved shells.
If you dig long enough and hard enough, you can find some beautiful stuff. This is an ammonite. It's a fossil that is actually the direct ancestor of octopus. So this is an ancient cephalopod. It's related to the chambered nautilus. So the tentacles sat here and swam about.
A shell is a mobile home and a defense against predators, but it's so cumbersome it makes swimming difficult. Of the almost 1,000 kinds of cephalopods alive today, only the nautilus still wears one. It's a living fossil, puffing along the reefs of the Indo-Pacific as though nothing has ever changed. Bob returns for one last dive with the octopus.
It's her interest, her intelligence. I could see it in her eyes.
I think homie was on weed when he went diving, because I didn't see none of that in this octopus's eyeballs.
There's something about the eyes of these animals just draw human observers in, and especially with the octopus and the cuttlefish, they definitely make visual.
I could see their eyeballs making me draw my gun, but like, me in? No, boo-boo. Nope, I done seen Snakes on a Plane and all other scary movies because of bad acting, you know, so I know not to go anywhere near that.
Eye contact with you and maintain it.
Dr. John Forsyth studies these creatures' amazing physiology and complex behaviors.
And I've come in and played games with octopus where I'll duck
Squid and another relative, the cuttlefish. For John, the eyes of a cephalopod are not just the windows to its soul. They tell you a lot about how the animal lives. The octopus has a rectangular pupil that captures light reflected off the sea floor. Squid's large round eyes are adapted to seeing darting prey in the twilight of the open ocean. Cuttlefish dwell in both worlds, and their complex eyes can actually change shape to accommodate their travels. But it's not in their eerie eyes that cephalopods reveal their inner feelings. It's in their remarkable skin. Millions of tiny sacs of pigment called chromatophores dot their skin, each controlled by minute muscles. With a little flexing, a cephalopod can flash with rippling bands of color. Any sort of excitement, danger, desire, aggression, passion, and their skin lights up. For creatures with no vocal abilities at all, this is looking back. From the still of the muck to the roaring straits, a lot of effort goes into not standing out. Drifting reeds are actually floating razorfish. And the end of a few branches turn into ornate ghost pipefish. Out in the high-speed tides and swirling eddies, fish work hard to keep their footing, digging into the bottom with spine-like fins.
Fish have feet now? Word?
But even creeping along on the seafloor, you still have to make a living. A harmless-looking weed rolling in the current is a hairy frogfish trolling for a meal. It comes equipped with its own strange lure.
Is that its balls?
Sand offers the best retreat, but the crab has already been spotted. A marginated octopus is the perfect little predator.
What is that? It's like an underwater perforated anus.
Here. Good camouflage, good eyesight, good grip.
Good grief! Oh, he's fighting back.
The soft-bodied octopus has one more weapon up its sleeve to subdue the crab's claws: venom. It finds a chink in the crab's armor, injects a neurotoxin, and the struggle is over. In such an open setting, the trick for every creature is to find some place to hide. An octopus fits in just about anywhere, and John finds one tucked into a piece of discarded pipe. Perhaps there is something in cephalopod memory that recalls having a shell. Bob and John find this little octopus ambling along with a dark brown bottle tucked under his arms.
The bottle turned out to be his home, and he took it with him everywhere. So I thought I'd offer him a new fancy place and see if he's interested in trading spaces. I began to worry he might get confused by this clear glass and wouldn't remember how to get back out. But after a few minutes, he slipped through the opening and went straight back to his old brown bottle. He'd made his choice. I think the clear glass was a little too bright, and besides, there's no place like home, especially when you can take it with you.
That's actually pretty cool. It's actually kind of cool. Alright, that's about as much as my aquaphobia can take for the day. Watching something that you're scared of, dude, it's so draining even though. So yo, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys want to watch the original video, the link's in the description down below. It's your boy Blasphemous HD. Twisms.
Videos have documented the often violent nature of a feeding shark. If that wasn't enough, then the Hollywood blockbusters like...
What it is, guys, it's your boy Blasphemous HD, and today we are here to ruin my life. I mean, my life is awesome, but it's gonna be less awesome when I watch this video because deep water gives me extreme anxiety. So yeah, man, let's watch this video. Juice makes me feel better. You guys wanna watch the original video? It's by Top 5's finest. At this point, I'm just stalling because I'm scared. Twisms.
In recent years, advances in technology have seen more and more videos appear containing amazing footage of divers swimming with all manner of creatures never before seen.
What's that? What was that?
Creatures never before seen.
Oh!
Number 5. Giant pyrosome. The deep seas of our planet are by far the most
Bruh, why do the pictures mess with me, yo? I understand the footage, but the pictures. God dang, I'm not going in the water.
Explored regions on Earth. We actually know less about the bottom of our seas than we do about the surface of Mars. So no wonder there are still some amazing creatures living down in the deep that we're yet to see. Only 3% of our deepest seas have been properly explored. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of new species just waiting to be discovered. And as technology moves on, we're coming across more each day.
If it was left up to people like me, we'd never know anything about them. Leave them where they at. I don't want it.
Of the deep sea creatures we do know about, one of the rarest is this, the giant pyrosome. On the 5th of August 2013, the Daily Mail reported that a group of divers had captured footage of this elusive creature in open waters off the coast of Tasmania. The unicorn of the sea, as it is known due to the few rare sightings, can grow up to 30 meters long, and it even glows in the dark. This amazingly rare footage shows divers calmly investigating one of the ocean's great wonders. Appearing like a massive snake or a worm, this glowing tube...
If anybody out there ever having a situation involving anxiety, cold lime water
spans the distance between the two scuba divers from the Eagle Hawk Dive Center in Australia. The tube drifts on the current as it searches for waters that are rich in plankton. You can see that at one end it's slightly pointed and has a wider opening at the other end. Only rarely spotted by diving groups and otherwise known as a sea squirt, you can see this glowing tube dwarf the divers that swim beside it and playfully move it around the water with their hands. This giant creature, which can grow as long as several buses end to end, is actually made up of thousands of tiny creatures called zooids. Zooids are filter-feeding creatures that feed on plankton and effectively clone themselves over and over again, which creates these massive living structures called Pyrostemma spinosum. This mass of tiny creatures pulls water into its tubes and filters out the plankton before pushing the water back out at the other end. Number 4. Giant sunfish. If you were to imagine swimming off the coasts of Portugal, you might be thinking of crystal clear, sun-warmed seas. You might even picture a shark or two. What you definitely won't be imagining, though, is the creature the divers found themselves in the water with in October of 2015. Weighing in at over 200 kilograms, the giant sunfish not only towers over the divers in the water next to it, but this thing... can grow bigger than some great white sharks. This footage from the Daily Mail shows a group of divers off the coast of Portugal swimming alongside this ocean-going giant. Moving as if in slow motion through the water, this humongous fish doesn't seem bothered by the divers that surround it. It's almost as interested in them as they are in it. The divers calmly continue to circle the sunfish. This large and strange-looking fish has a mouth that's big enough to swallow a diver whole. So how can they be so calm? The reason for the lack of panic is that the sunfish, although huge in size and bizarre in looks, is actually harmless. The sunfish is known to bask in warm water near the surface before returning to the deep, where it lives on a diet of jellyfish. The divers in this footage, which was filmed by Miguel Pereira, were lucky enough to be armed with some of the latest underwater filming equipment. This allowed them to capture these amazing close-ups of what has to be one of the weirdest creatures in our seas so far. The footage shows the divers circling, surrounding, and even at times interacting with this monster from the deep for several minutes. It's amazing that there are creatures like this that live in the deepest parts of our oceans, but can sometimes be found just beneath the surface. So next time you head out for a swim, you never know. You might bump into this guy. Number 3. Goliath group.
Bruh, that last picture, the last video of that messed with me so bad, I swear to God, it triggered my fight or flight. If y'all saw my shoulder, I was trying to punch it in the face. In my mind, it's in the room. Don't do deep water, bruh. I just don't do it.
Grouper attacks diver. It's easy to see why the shark is the fish that most people are worried about when they take a deep in the deep blue. So many videos have documented the often violent nature of a feeding shark. If that wasn't enough, then Hollywood blockbusters like... the movie Jaws did all that was needed to have us looking for that dark silhouette whenever we put on a mask. The footage of Arif Sabir was shot by his wife and uploaded to his YouTube channel. It shows the amazing events that occurred while the couple were diving off the coasts of Florida. They're in just under 100 feet of water, and we can see him swimming with a small fish he's just speared. On the ocean floor, you can see another, much larger fish has become interested in his catch. This Goliath grouper, nearing the 500-pound mark, swims past the diver before turning back around and swimming back towards him. The diver and the grouper spend a moment face to face before the diver moves closer to the surface. You can even hear the divers laughing at the fish, which swims closer and closer. That's probably because they didn't know what was about to happen. Suddenly, the Goliath grouper strikes from below, grabbing the diver's flipper and tearing it from his foot. Then, in a flash, the huge fish opens its jaws and consumes the fish and spear, turns and swims off with the diver's equipment in tow. In a slow motion shot, we can see that the fish actually grabs part of the diver's foot when it strikes for the flipper. He's lucky he didn't lose his foot, as these giant fish have amazingly powerful jaws that can sometimes carry up to 5 rows of teeth. The bite is so fast that you can see why the laughing stopped, as everyone realized there was a real danger here. The Goliath grouper has actually been known to hunt or stalk humans from time to time, making it probably not the safest fish to be playing around with. This diver had a head-to-head with the Goliath grouper and lost. He later found his spear gun lying in a sand bed a quarter of a mile away. Basically, if this guy wants your catch, it's probably best to just give it to him. Number 2. What?
Oh my God, that's better. Oh my God, that is, oh, there it is. Okay, that's so much better. All right. That should give me enough juice to make it through the rest of this video, yo. Ooh.
Whale shark attacks diver. The whale shark is the largest known fish species in the sea. A slow-moving giant, it filters out small creatures from the water that passes through its massive open mouth. These guys can weigh over 20,000 kilograms and grow to over 12 meters long. These ocean giants are well known for their calm, docile nature and for not posing a threat to humans. For this reason, swimming with whale sharks has become one of the diver's greatest wishes. This footage, published on the 10th of September 2012, shows a group of divers in the water with several large whale sharks. The huge fish swims slowly and gracefully towards and then past the diver. One of the sharks then turns back towards the camera and checks it out as it swims over the diver and his camera. You can see how close the diver gets as he shoots footage of the small fish living on the shark's underside. The shark now begins to open its mouth in short, sharp bursts. Swimming directly towards the camera, the shark continues to open its large mouth, pulling in massive amounts of
What the living hell? Why? Why would anyone go near this on purpose?
water as it does so. You can now see the diver's flipper at the bottom of the shot as the whale shark gets closer and closer. This type of behavior is very strange for a whale shark. It passes by the camera and now we can see how big this fish really is as it swims towards another diver. The diver swims down and away from the whale shark, but seems to have captured its interest as it follows the diver. The shark appears to open its mouth and almost swallow the diver whole. The diver escapes, and you can even hear a small shout underwater. The diver, who's clearly quite shaken, backs away from the whale shark, but the massive fish continues to circle back around. There's another shout from the diver as she attempts to swim out of reach of the shark. The shark doubles back for her and seems to strike again. The diver begins to swim faster and starts to head for the surface. What was a nice, calm swim with these supposedly tranquil beasts has now turned into something very different. Through a mist of bubbles, we can see the whale shark as it swims straight for the diver a third time. The diver is panicked. When the bubbles clear, we can see the diver now swimming down and away from the shark who's still following her. We can hear more shouts and screams from the diver as the shark continuously opens its mouth around the diver's legs. This may have looked like an extremely rare attack carried out by a creature that's supposed to be a calm giant, but in fact, the divers are sure that the whale was only interested in the bubbles and wanted to play. Well, I'm not sure that's a game I would want to play with such a large creature from the deep.
Exactly. No, I don't, what a play? What a play? If that's what's happening, that's not playful.
Number 1, giant squid.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Nope. That's like one of my biggest fears in the water is a giant. That's what got me scared of underwater in general, was a giant squid. I saw a documentary on Discovery Channel when I was younger. I was living in a hotel with my mom. I remember everything very vividly. My mom had left, so I was jumping on the bed. And the way the hotel was set up was the TV was suspended from the ceiling. And, you know, it was perfect for jumping on the bed. I jump on the bed, watch TV. It was great. And I was watching Discovery Channel, because I love Animal Planet, Discovery Channel, you feel me? And out of nowhere, you know what I mean? Like, they did this documentary on giant squids, and I was watching it like, oh, cool. Until they showed, like, underwater, and then a giant squid, and then they showed, like, you know, it was just, the whole screen was dark, and I was like, what the hell? And the whole room was dark, too. I was like, what the fuck? And then, out of nowhere, an eyeball passes by the screen of a giant squid, and I lost it. I lost it all. I was like, I ain't know. Ever since then, I've been scared of underwater.
The deepest parts of our planet's oceans, there live some of the strangest creatures we could ever imagine. Creatures that were once believed to be only myth or legend. The huge sea beasts that would surge up from the deep and grab fishermen before pulling them back down into the vast blackness below. We now know that some of these myths are based on real encounters with actual living creatures from the deep. One such creature is the giant squid, a massive, deep ocean-dwelling squid. The giant squid can grow to amazingly large sizes. Males can grow to around 10 meters from the tip of their tentacles to the fin on their posterior, and females can grow even larger. Of the biggest parts of our seas that are trenches that stretch several miles down in places, one such trench is off the coasts of Japan. It's no wonder then that our last video comes from the waters of Japan. Next to appear in Japan, we can see a diver disappear under the water. We can hear chatter in Japanese as the diver has been gone for the best part of a minute. What he comes back to the surface with will shock everyone watching. We can see the colors just beneath the surface. The telltale red of a giant squid begins to show, and the shape becomes clearer and clearer. Its tentacles begin to move around in the water, and as it gets closer to the surface, we can see just how big it is. All of a sudden, the huge red creature surfaces. Everyone around begins to take pictures and talk excitedly about what they're seeing. The diver appears alongside. It's at this point that we can see the length of the squid is at least double that of the diver. The diver touches the huge red beast and it swims away. This squid appears both calm and playful, which is just as well, really. The giant squid is a voracious hunter and can potentially be deadly, so the diver in this video has luck on his side.
Hope you guys enjoyed the video. You know, this is your boy Blasphemous HD, and I am going to go take a freezing cold shower now, because that helps. It really does. Anybody out there ever having a situation involving some anxiety? Cold showers. Cold water in general. Just cold water. Well, twisms.
Used to latch on to moving targets, eating away at the flesh until they reach the blood and bodily fluids they crave.
What it is, guys? It's your boy Blasphemous HD, and I don't know why I'm so enthusiastic in my intro, because I'm really not gonna be after I start the video. Didn't mean for that to rhyme, at least not on this time. I've been trying. Today it's top 10 scariest fish in the sea. It is by WatchMojo.com. If you guys want to watch the original video, the link's in the description down below. Sometimes. Let's do this.
Today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 scariest looking fish.
So you see a big 6, 7, 8 foot gar hit the surface with these monstrous teeth. The first thing that comes to your mind is, well, I'm not getting in the water.
Yeah.
For this list, the fish in question don't necessarily need to be dangerous.
Bro, I don't do this, man. I
aggressive, or deadly.
No.
They just need to be terrifying and monstrous to behold.
No!
Schools of juveniles have even been known to attack larger land animals, venturing into the shallows.
Number 10. Pacu. Piranhas are scary enough without needing any help. But what if we told you there was a giant piranha-related fish with, wait for it, human-like teeth?
No!
Piranhas have small, triangular, razor-sharp teeth, whereas pacu have teeth that resemble human molars because they're mostly herbivorous, and our molars are what we use to mostly grind up plant matter.
No.
Large carnivorous fish have an inherent knack for intimidation. Adding something so human to the faces of these otherwise alien-looking creatures is sure to send shivers down the spine of even the most seasoned fishermen. Combine these big square teeth with the fact that they can grow to over 3 feet long and 55 pounds in weight, and that is one intimidating river monster.
It's basically the size of a tall midget, is what it is. You know what I mean? And it's got human-sized teeth, and they're traveling packs more than likely. I don't think that this is a good look for anybody. Especially not me. I don't do water.
Although not as aggressive as their piranha cousins, they'll eat almost anything.
This would be a very jagged, messy tear, and I think you'd certainly know about this when this got you.
Number 9. Dragonfish.
No.
Remember that horrifying moment in Alien when a chest burster pops out of John Hurt's stomach like some deep space jack-in-the-box, releasing a super soaker?
She said deep space jack-in-the-box. Bruh! Oh, I needed that laugh. I really, really, really do.
Spray of blood? More blood-curdling than that is the knowledge that an identical-looking creature actually lives on this planet. While many varieties exist, the deep-sea dragonfish is by far the creepiest, with a bioluminescent barbel hanging from its sharp-fanged jaw, which it uses to lure unsuspecting victims. It may only grow to about 6 inches long, though sometimes more, but this little fish is a fierce predator. Number 8. Wells catfish.
There it is. There's the fish.
Anyone who says size doesn't matter clearly never encountered this freshwater behemoth. Your average catfish? A little ugly, but nothing to be afraid of.
No.
Wells catfish, on the other hand, can grow to 13 feet in length and weigh a whopping 880 pounds.
What?
This is a really...
Okay, look, leave in the comment section down below where this fish is so that I can know never to go there, because I want to travel, but I don't want to run into this when I'm there.
Rare sight. That fish is 7 foot long. It's about 140 pounds at least.
No!
It's found all over Europe and eats fish and any other small amphibian or mammal with the misfortune of crossing its path. There are even stories
at least it's killing pigeons.
of Wells catfish eating humans.
No.
This fish is so large that Loch Ness monster hunter Steve Feltham believes it to be the true species of the elusive Scottish lake monster.
I'm saying that looking at all of the evidence, the best contender for an explanation currently is a thing called a Wells catfish.
Number 7. Alligator gar.
But was an alligator gar really the culprit? Or, with its threatening prehistoric appearance, was it just an obvious scapegoat?
Well, it has the jaws of an alligator. This thing looks more like a dinosaur. And that's not far from the truth. The alligator gar is often referred to as a living fossil, as it retains many characteristics of its ancestors. Fossils of these fish can be found dating back as far as the early Cretaceous period, over 100 million years ago. At up to 10 feet long and over 300 pounds, it's a true prehistoric predator.
So, you know what I'm gonna look up next? Top 10 times people got eaten doing too much in nature. Alright? Because that's what I feel like all of the people who are in this video are doing. Way too much.
Any other fish you're used to fighting, you know, you whoop it, now you got it tired. These fish don't get tired, they just take a rest.
Swimming with the fishes already suggests a gruesome fate. But how about swimming with the dinosaurs?
It's very tempting just to keep it out and admire it.
Number 6. Tigerfish.
No!
These are tigerfish, Africa's answer to the piranha.
Why do we like to name fish after other animals found on land? Can't fish be scary in their own right? The tigerfish has such a distinct viciousness to its appearance that it needs no help in making a name for itself.
That will just take lumps out of other fish. It will take lumps out of crocodiles even.
Why? Why?
There are are stories well documented about taking lumps out of people.
It's lean, muscular,
What?
and has...
Tell me the front of it don't look like Bowser, bruh. Like a whole dragon out this mug, bruh. Like half dragon, half turtle, half fish.
Proportionately large teeth. Found all across Africa. The largest and most deadly of the species, the Goliath tigerfish, calls the Congo River home.
Fearsome teeth.
While other carnivorous fish are known to eat unsuspecting birds resting on the water, the tiger...
He swallowed him whole! What?
Fish is known to leap out of the water and trap them mid-flight.
Gonna edit that out.
Number 5, gulper eel. We can all agree that pelicans are funny looking.
Hop inside my mouth if you want to live.
The saggy, stretchy throat makes them look like a bullfrog, no? Then there are the awkward, stubby legs, the ungraceful takeoffs. The deep-sea type of gulper eel, also called the pelican eel, shares the expanding lower jaw with the pelican, but the comparison ends there.
But this, surely, must be the strangest of all the deep-sea fish yet discovered.
Rarely seen by humans, this creature is truly otherworldly. The expanding jaw and matching stomach lets them eat fish and crustaceans as large as themselves.
Which is very useful in a world where you never know when the next meal is coming along.
Small, beady eyes evolved to spot the faintest movements in the dark ocean depths, while a bioluminescent tail sways to entice its unsuspecting victims. Sheer terror. Number 4, lamprey, also known as lamprey eels.
There's something about anything snake-like, it just produces that sort of instinctive, squirmy reaction.
By now, we shouldn't be surprised by the overlap of classic sci-fi films and the creatures on this list. It seems that our oceans are scarier than the furthest reaches of space, and the imaginations of monster makers in Hollywood. Sarlacc and Space Slug from Star Wars and Sandworm from Dune. Meet your cousin, the lamprey. Long cylindrical fish of varying sizes, they have round funnel-shaped mouths filled with row upon row of sharp teeth. These unique mouths are used to latch on to moving targets, eating away at the flesh until they reach the blood and bodily fluids they crave.
Come on. Oh man, it makes my skin crawl and like, it just gave me goosebumps. I ain't doing this, bro. I ain't got too many more of these in me, bro. I can't even.
That is hard to get off. That is hard. That is hard to get off.
Number 3, cookie cutter shark, also known as the cigar shark.
Isopod brasiliensis.
Exactly.
Or more commonly known as the cookie cutter shark.
Remember how you used to draw shark teeth as a kid? Just a giant strip of white with a jagged edge? Well, in a nightmarish turn of events, your crude drawing has come to life and swims warm oceanic waters around the world. The cookie cutter shark ranges from 17 to 22 inches in length and has a long cigar-shaped body. It has suctorial lips that allow it to suck on flesh. From this position, it slowly spins, biting down with its saw-like teeth to remove a large oval of flesh, often 2 inches in diameter and 2.5 inches deep.
Perfectly round. I guess that's why they call them cookie cutters.
Number 2, anglerfish.
No!
Oh my gosh, an anglerfish.
Ophius pescatorius. That was my favorite fish as a boy. Look at those teeth.
This creature of the deep is pretty much one big mouth with fins. Like many fish that live near the ocean floor, it uses bioluminescence to attract its food. Unlike many other fish, whose lure hangs beneath its lower jaw, the anglerfish has a fleshy protrusion growing out of its forehead. Called an esca, it uses it like a fishing rod, directing other fish directly into its mouth full of sharp teeth.
In the darkness of deep water, they flash the light to attract prey and draw them near the angler's mouth.
These teeth are angled inwards so prey can swim in, but escape is rendered impossible. This massive mouth also allows it to swallow victims twice its size.
This far down, meals are few and far between. So to make the most of every opportunity, this anglerfish has evolved a distending jaw and expandable stomach.
Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions.
Out of my way.
just like my favourite Bond villain. I've filled a small swimming pool with over 100 red-bellied piranhas, and they haven't eaten for days.
Number 1. Goblin Shark. Oh, horrifying monster clown of the deep. We salute you as the scariest looking fish. And you were up against some serious competition.
Ready for some night terrors? This is how these things bite.
What the? I don't know whether that's scary or fascinating.
This rare deep-sea shark has pink fleshy skin and looks like some sort of deformed human-shark hybrid. The elongated snout looks like a long, misshapen human nose that, paired with a mouthful of thin, sharp, nail-like teeth, makes for a haunting sight. More terrifying, however, are its jaws, which extend forward and expand when it...
If a chick open her mouth and that's what her teeth look like, mouth to mouth, man. You know what I mean? You just gotta do it and, you know what I mean, and hope she doesn't give you the ridges.
It happened suddenly when the shark turned to avoid the camera and ran into the diver's arm.
While not considered a threat to humans, they have been known to bite. And if looks truly can kill, then the goblin shark must be deadly. Do you agree with our list?
Well, that's all the horrifiedness that I'm down to deal with today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Boy Blasphemous HD, Twisms.